040, The True Aspect of All Phenomena, written by Nichiren. Question. The Expedient Means chapter in the first volume of the Lotus Sutra states, quote, "The true aspect of all phenomena can only be understood and shared between Buddhas. This reality consists of the appearance, nature, and their consistency from beginning to end." End quote. What does this passage mean? Answer. It means that all beings and environments in the 10 worlds, from hell the lowest to Buddhahood the highest, are without exception manifestations of Myoho-renge-kyo. If there is an environment, living beings are bound to dwell there. A commentary states, living beings and their environments always manifest Myoho-renge-kyo. Another says, the true aspect invariably manifests in all phenomena, and all phenomena invariably manifest in the 10 factors. The 10 factors invariably manifest in the 10 worlds, and the 10 worlds invariably manifest in life and its environment. End quote. End quote. Both the beings and the environment of the Avicii hell exist entirely within the life of the highest sage, Buddha. And what is more, the life and the environment of Vairochana Buddha never transcend the lives of common mortals. End quote. These explanations are precise and clear. Who could have doubts? Thus, the entire realm of phenomena is no different than the 5 characters of Myoho-renge-kyo. Even the 2 Buddhas, Shakyamuni and many treasures, in performing the functions of the benefit of the 5 characters of Myoho-renge-kyo, manifested themselves as the 2 Buddhas and seated together in the treasure tower, nodded in mutual agreement. No one but Nichiren has ever revealed teachings like this. Though Tendai, Miaolo, and Dengyo knew about them in their hearts, they never put them into words. They went about their lives, keeping this knowledge to themselves. And there was good reason for this. The Buddha had not entrusted them with the task. The time had not yet come, and they had not been the Buddha's disciples from the distant past. Only superior practices, boundless practices, and the other foremost leaders and guiding teachers among the bodhisattvas of the earth can not only appear during the first 500 years of the latter day of the law and spread the 5 characters of Myoho-renge-kyo, the essence of all phenomena, but also give concrete form to the ceremony of the 2 Buddhas seated side by side in the treasure tower. The reason is that what they are to spread and give concrete form to is none other than the teaching of the actual 3,000 realms in a single moment of life, in the lifespan chapter of the essential teaching. Therefore, the 2 Buddhas, Shakyamuni and many treasures, are Buddhas who are functions of Myoho-renge-kyo. It is Myoho-renge-kyo that is the true Buddha. This is what is described in the sutra as the Thus Come One's secret and his transcendental powers. The Thus Come One's secret refers to the entity of the Buddha's 3 bodies, and it refers to the true Buddha. His transcendental powers refers to the functions of the 3 bodies, and it refers to provisional Buddhas. A common mortal is an entity of the 3 bodies and a true Buddha. A Buddha is a function of the 3 bodies and a provisional Buddha. In that case, though it is taught that Shakyamuni Buddha possesses the 3 virtues of sovereign, teacher, and parent, for the sake of all of us living beings, that is not so. On the contrary, it is common mortals who endow him with the 3 virtues. The Thus Come One is explained clearly in Tiantai's commentary as follows, quote, "The Thus Come One is a general designation for the Buddhas of the 10 directions and the 3 existences. For the 2 Buddhas, the 3 Buddhas, the true Buddha, and provisional Buddhas." End quote. The true Buddha here means common mortals, whereas provisional Buddhas means Buddhas. However, because of the difference between ordinary people and the Buddhas that stems from the disparity between delusion and enlightenment, ordinary people are unaware that they are endowed with both the entity and functions of the three bodies. All phenomena in the sutra refers to the 10 worlds and the true aspect, to what they actually are. The true aspect is another name for Myoho-renge-kyo. Hence, all phenomena are Myoho-renge-kyo. Hell's displaying the form of hell is its true aspect. When hell changes into the realm of hungry spirits, there is no longer true form of hell. A Buddha displays the form of a Buddha, and a common mortal that of a common mortal. The entities of all phenomena are entities of Myoho-renge-kyo. That is the meaning of the true aspect of all phenomena. Tendai states that the profound principle of the true aspect is the originally inherent Myoho-renge-kyo. This interpretation identifies the phrase true aspect with the theoretical teaching and the originally inherent Myoho-renge-kyo with the essential teaching. You should ponder this interpretation deep in your heart. Although not worthy of the honor, I, Nichiren, was nevertheless the first to spread the mystic law entrusted to Bodhisattva superior practices for propagation in the latter day of the law. I was also the first, though only Bodhisattva superior practices is so empowered, to inscribe the object of devotion as the embodiment of Shakyamuni Buddha from the remote past as revealed in the lifespan chapter of the essential teaching. Of many treasure Buddha who appeared when the treasure tower chapter of the theoretical teaching was preached, and of the Bodhisattvas of the earth who arrived with the emerging from earth chapter. Though people may hate me, they cannot possibly alter the fact of my enlightenment. Therefore, to have exiled me, Nichiren, to this remote island is, I believe, an offense that can never be expiated, even with the passing of countless kalpas. A passage from the Simile and Parable chapter reads, quote, "If I were to describe the punishment that fall on persons who slander this sutra, I could exhaust a kalpa and never come to the end." End quote. On the other hand, not even the wisdom of the Buddha can fathom the blessings that one will obtain by giving alms to Nichiren and by becoming his disciple and lay supporter. The sutra reads, "The benefits he gains thereby will be such that even the Buddha wisdom could never finish calculating their extent." Nichiren alone took the lead in carrying out the task of the Bodhisattvas of the earth. He may even be one of them. If Nichiren is to be counted among the Bodhisattva of the earth, then so must his disciples and lay supporters. The sutra states, quote, "If one of these good men or good women, in the time after I have passed into extinction, is able to secretly expound the Lotus Sutra to one person, even one phrase of it, then you should know that he or she is the envoy of the Thus Come One. He has been dispatched by the Thus Come One and carries out the Thus Come One's work." End quote. Who else but us can this possibly refer to? When praised highly by others, one feels that there is no hardship one cannot bear. Such is the courage that springs from the words of praise. The votaries born in the latter day of the law who propagate the Lotus Sutra will encounter the three types of enemies, who will cause them to be exiled and even condemn them to death. Yet Shakyamuni Buddha will enfold in his robe those who nonetheless persevere in propagating. Heavenly gods will make them offerings, support them with their shoulders, and carry them on their backs. They possess great roots of goodness and deserve to be great leaders for all living beings. Thus, extolled by Shakyamuni Buddha, many treasures Buddha, and all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the 10 directions, the 7 reigns of heavenly deities and the 5 reigns of earthly deities, mother of demon children and the 10 demon daughters, the 4 heavenly kings, Brahma, Shakra, King Yama, the gods of the waters and winds, the gods of the sea and mountains, the Thus Come One Mahavairochana, the Bodhisattvas Universal Worthy and Manjushri, and the gods of the sun and moon, Thus, praised by all these honored ones, I, Nichiren, have been able to endure countless harsh trials. When praised, one does not consider one's personal risk, and when criticized, one can recklessly cause one's own ruin. Such is the way of common mortals. Now, no matter what, strive in faith and be known as the votary of the Lotus Sutra, and remain my disciple for the rest of your life. If you are of the same mind as Nichiren, you must be a Bodhisattva of the earth. And if you are a Bodhisattva of the earth, there is not the slightest doubt that you have been a disciple of Shakyamuni Buddha from the remote past. The sutra states, ever since the long distant past have I been teaching and converting this multitude. There should be no discrimination among those who propagate the 5 characters of Myoho-renge-kyo in the latter day of the law, be they men or women. Were they not Bodhisattva of the earth, they could not chant the Daimoku. At first, only Nichiren chanted Nam-myoho-renge-kyo, but then 2, 3, and 100 followed, and chanting and teaching others. Propagation will unfold this way in the future as well. Does this not signify emerging from the earth? At the time when the law has spread far and wide, the entire Japanese nation will chant Nam-myoho-renge-kyo, as surely as an arrow aimed at the earth cannot miss the target. But now you must build your reputation on the Lotus Sutra and give yourself up to it. At the ceremony in the air, when the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions gathered together, the 2 Buddhas, Shakyamuni and many treasures, nodded in agreement. What they decided on was nothing other than the perpetuation of the law throughout the latter day. Many treasures Buddha had offered Shakyamuni Buddha a place beside him, and when they unfurled the banner of Myoho-renge-kyo, the 2 leaders of the entire multitude made their decision together. Could there have been anything false in their decision? Their ultimate purpose in meeting was to provide a way for all of us living beings to attain Buddhahood. Although I was not at the ceremony, on looking at the sutra, this is crystal clear. On the other hand, I may not have been at the ceremony, but since I am a common mortal, it is beyond my power to know the past. There is no doubt, however, that in my present life, I am the votary of the Lotus Sutra, and that in the future, I will therefore reach the seat of enlightenment without fail. Judging the past from this point of view, I must have been at the ceremony in the air. There can be no discontinuity between the 3 existences of past, present, and future. Because I view things this way, I feel immeasurable delight even though I am now an exile. Joy as well as sorrow move us to tears. Tears express our feelings for both blessings and misfortune. The 1000 arhats shed tears in memory of the Buddha, and in tears Bodhisattva Manjushri chanted Nam-myoho-renge-kyo. From among those 1000 arhats, the Venerable Ananda replied in tears, "This is what I heard." The tears of all the others fell, wetting their inkstones, and they wrote Nam-myoho-renge-kyo, followed by "This is what I heard." I, Nichiren, now feel exactly as they did. I am now in exile because I spread the 5 and 7 characters of Myoho-renge-kyo. I spread this teaching because this is what I heard. Shakyamuni Buddha and many treasure Buddha left Myoho-renge-kyo for the future and for all living beings in the country of Japan. I cannot hold back my tears when I think of the great persecution confronting me now, or when I think of the joy of attaining Buddhahood in the future. Birds and crickets cry, but never shed tears. I, Nichiren, do not cry, but my tears flow ceaselessly. I shed my tears not for worldly affairs, but solely for the sake of the Lotus Sutra. So, indeed, they must be tears of Amrita. The Nirvana Sutra states that while the tears one has shed in past existences at the death of one's parents, brothers, sisters, wives, children, and other relatives surpass the quantity of water in the 4 great seas, one weeps not a drop for the Buddha's teachings. One becomes a votary of the Lotus Sutra by virtue of one practice in past existences. It is karmic relationship that determine which among the many trees are made into images of the Buddha. It is also because of karma that some become statues of Buddhas of the provisional teachings. In this letter, I have written my most important teachings. Grasp their meaning firmly and make them a part of your life. Believe in the Gohonzon, the supreme object of devotion in all of Jambudvipa. Be sure to strengthen your faith and receive the protection of Shakyamuni, many treasures, and the Buddhas of the 10 directions. Exert yourself in the two ways of practice and study. Without practice and study, there can be no Buddhism. You must not only persevere yourself, you must also teach others. Both practice and study arise from faith. Teach others to the best of your ability, even if it is only a single sentence or phrase. Nam-myoho-renge-kyo, Nam-myoho-renge-kyo. With my deep respect, Nichiren. The 7th day of the 5th month. Postscript. I wrote before about the doctrines that have been handed down to me. Those I have revealed to you in this particular letter are very important. Is there not a mystic bond between us? Are you not the embodiment of one of the 4 bodhisattvas, including superior practices, who led the bodhisattvas of the earth equal in number to the sands of the 60,000 Ganges rivers? There must be some profound reason for our relationship. I have given you the teachings that concern myself. Nichiren may be one of the followers of the bodhisattvas of the earth who are equal in numbers to the sands of the 60,000 Ganges rivers, for I have been chanting Nam-myoho-renge-kyo out of my desire to guide all the men and women in Japan. The sutra says, among these bodhisattvas were 4 leaders. The first was called superior practices. These 4 bodhisattvas were the foremost leaders and guiding teachers. A bond of karma from the past has led you to become my disciple. By all means, keep this letter to yourself. I have herein committed to writing the doctrines of my own enlightenment. I will end here. Reply to Sairen-bō. Background. Nichiren Daishonin wrote this letter to Sairen-bō Nichijō while at Ichinosawa on Sado Island in the 5th month of the 10th year of Bun'ei, 1273. For some reason, Sairen-bō was also in exile on Sado, where he had been converted by the Daishonin in the 2nd month of 1272. A former Tendai priest, he already knew something about the true aspect of all phenomena. It was a fundamental concept in the Tendai school of Buddhism. He could not, however, satisfactorily come to grips with this concept through Tendai's theory alone, so he asked the Daishonin for an explanation. The true aspect of all phenomena is the Daishonin's reply. Though comparatively short, this document elucidates 2 important elements of the Daishonin's Buddhism. It was completed a month after Nichiren Daishonin wrote The Object of Devotion for Observing the Mind, in which he explained the Gohonzon, the object of devotion that can lead all people in the latter day of the law to enlightenment. True aspect of all phenomena begins with a passage from the Expedient Means chapter, the heart of the theoretical teaching of the Lotus Sutra, that implies that no phenomenon is in any way different from the true aspect, or Myoho-renge-kyo. It also implies that all the innumerable forms and realities that exist, both concrete and abstract, are manifestations of Myoho-renge-kyo. The Daishonin then explains the essence of the Lotus Sutra, Myoho-renge-kyo, and its embodiment, the Gohonzon. This is the first element, the object of devotion in terms of the law. After clarifying the ultimate teaching of the Lotus Sutra, the Daishonin states that Bodhisattva superior practices, the leader of the Bodhisattvas of the earth, will propagate that teaching, and that he himself is carrying out the mission entrusted to that Bodhisattva. In light of his own behavior and his fulfillment of the predictions in the Lotus Sutra, Nichiren Daishonin suggests that he himself is Bodhisattva superior practices. A more profound interpretation, however, identifies him as the Buddha of the latter day of the law, whose purpose was to establish the Gohonzon for the enlightenment of all people in the latter day. Thus, true aspect of all phenomena also explains the object of devotion in terms of the person. This is the second element. Referring to both the person and the law, the Daishonin clarifies the fundamental object of devotion for the people of the latter day. He brings together the points he expounded in the opening of the eyes, completed in 1272, which focuses on the second element, and in the object of devotion for observing the mind, which focuses on the first element. The latter half of this letter explains to Sairen-bō that those who devote themselves to propagating the correct teaching in the same spirit as the Daishonin are themselves bodhisattvas of the earth. The Daishonin predicts that Myoho-renge-kyo will spread widely in the future, and concludes by setting forth the key elements of Buddhist practice in the latter day of the law, namely faith, practice, and study.